Hello, hello, and good afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world. Misha Safran here with Frances Sims, who is our guest today for this week's podcast, Passing Joy Around the World. The topic today is coexistence, joy, pain, and truth about being an author. And I'll be introducing you to Frances in just a moment. Just a reminder, if you are watching on my personal Facebook page, you will want to look at the links in the description so that you can join one of the private groups, Joyful and Resilient Women, if you identify as a woman, Joyful and Resilient Families, if you identify as a parent. Otherwise, you can see the link to my YouTube channel where you can subscribe and watch all of the videos at a later date. They will not live stream into YouTube right now. So hopefully you will enjoy, you will do what you need to do to be able to watch. We will be introducing our presenter, our speaker and interviewee today, and then going forth into the other two groups. So we'll be disconnecting from the personal page. And just a reminder that I am the founder and creator of this podcast, and I am an academic life coach, parenting coach, and now an award-winning speaker, multilingual, super excited, and a budding author. And so it's super exciting for me, since I'm a budding author, I'm not an actually published author, to introduce to you Frances Sims, who is the founder and CEO of Premier Legacy Life Coaching, LLC. Frances is a confidence, empowering life coach for writers and inspiring writers like me. She is a published author of she is the published author of How to Achieve Your Goals in Life and Living, to also include her children's books, religious poetry book, as well as science fiction book. She is a motivational speaker, a mother of three, and an Army veteran of 20 plus years. Frances' passion is to ensure that women have the confidence to stand in their own power and let their voices be heard. She believes that every woman should share the story of their hearts through the power of words. Her women's group is called Women Impacting Life, WIL. Their motto is the will to live, the will to fight, and the will to stand united. Be the change. Frances, hello and welcome.
Hi, Misha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I am well.
I'm so glad that you're here, and it's especially exciting for me because I have truly had the joys and pains of writing. Um, I'm an author in the sense that I've published a lot of, published. I don't know how you can, if I can call it published. I've written and performed in public many of my songs,
Yes.
but I'm still in the process of writing my books. I have 3 books I've started and literally not finished a single one of them, but I'm on the way finally. So I'm curious, one, I would love for you to tell me a little story, about how you got into doing what you're doing. Let's start there. Tell us who you are and how you got started doing what you're doing now.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. Of course, my name is Frances Sims. And literally, how I got started with writing was I started journaling first. I was a person I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. And I really needed to identify and express who I was, what I thought about, how I felt about things, how I saw things, how things relate to me. So I started journaling and writing things down. And then, one of the things that I really, really did for my kids when they were younger was I told them stories, and I would just make up all these just really interesting stories and I would just tell them. And one of my friends was like, you should do a book. And I was like, nah, no one wants to hear
Yeah.
from me.
Yeah. And so you did?
Yes. So the first children's book that I wrote was in 2009.
Mhm.
I wrote Asia's New Glasses. And I wrote that for my daughter. And it was just a way to help her connect with her having to wear glasses. Because, 5-year-olds, she was 5 at the time, but 5-year-olds, when they're having to change and there's some sort of change going on in their lives, they don't know how to connect with that. They don't know how to process it. So to help her process, I wrote the book Asia's New Glasses, and it was in tribute to her having to wear glasses in the kindergarten for the first time.
Wow, that must have been, well, how did that land for your daughter? Was she tickled to have a book written about her?
Yes. She told everybody. She took a copy to school, was like, "Oh, this is my story. This is my story."
Oh, how sweet. Gosh, if that's not inspiring for parents who are watching this, what is? Our kids go through so many things.
Yes.
I mean, that's beautiful to have been able to. It's funny when you were talking about just making up stories. I used to be sitting around the dining room table with my children at the time when I was raising five of them, and I would pull a napkin. I was like, "Are you guys ready?" And like, "Yeah." And I'd pull a napkin out of the napkin holder and put it on the table. I said, "Do you see it?" And they're like, "Not yet." I thought I was loony, right? So I would start telling the story, like, "Do you guys look? There's a tall green piece of grass, and look, it's waving in the wind." And I mean, I would just start making up all these different things, and we just all got into this napkin, and it was so fun and so cool. Yeah. So you just reminded me of that experience.
Yes. And, and being able to connect like that, you're able to tell a story. And I wanted the story to have a moral end to where
Mm-hmm.
they can see something in the story and learn and grow from it. And
Mm-hmm.
connected with her. So when she had to wear her glasses, now of course she wears her glasses proudly. But at the time when she was really young, I remember she used to try to hide them. She used to try to hide them in her little backpack and go to class without her glasses. And I'm like, where are your glasses? And once I wrote the story and she would put them on and she's all like, look, I'm wearing glasses. It was just
Mm. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. So that sounds to me like it was relatively easy for you. There was a lot of joy in it.
oh yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Uh,
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think the only thing that I kind of toiled with was when I did my poetry book because that was more of me, and it was more
Mhm.
of deep seated things that I had to work out, the inner things that I had to work out, and that's when I realized that, oh, wait a minute, that message that I had in my journaling and in those poetry that actually connected with people. And once they got to
Mm.
read it, they identified with it and they were like, oh my God, this really helped. I like it. And that's when I got the idea, okay, well, hey, let me write this poetry book and let people be able to read this and connect with it for their own lives.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that, there are some kind of deeper things that happen inside as we start to write. We're like pulling it up and out, right? And it can feel very uncomfortable. When you are working with someone to start to write, what are some of the typical pains that you see people experiencing, and even yourself?
A lot of the things that you mostly, well, that I mostly hear from other women is, oh, I can't write anything. Oh, I don't have anything that I can write, but I really want to write. And what I tell them is that every woman have at least one story in her. You have
Mm,
somewhere where you've experienced, you have a pain that you overcame, you have some joy in your life that you wanted to express with everyone and in the world. If you have children, that's a story, the birth of your child. You
mhm,
have lived through losses in life, then that's a story. I mean, it's just so deep that women, we have this valley and just oodles and oodles of stories and just experiences in life, and connecting with that inner story is where
mhm,
I find that most people, they tend to shy away because they're like, oh well, no one wants to listen to my story, it's just me. But you're like, when
mm.
I talk to them, I'm going, yeah, it's just you who came through it like a champ.
Yeah, right.
I need to know how you did that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. And so in your process of becoming an author, being an author, I mean, I can't imagine it's all easy peasy and every book just gets published like that. And it's like, oh, I wrote a story here. Everybody wants it now. I mean, what are the trials and tribulations of publishing? Getting your name out there, getting the book into actual written form. I mean, I don't have in front of me, but my bonus mom, she just published another one of her poetry books, and I just, I love it, and I'm sure there's some challenges on the way.
Oh, it was a lot. Trying to find the right publishing company, trying to find the right editors, trying to make sure that what I wanted to present in my book was what people could connect with. Trying to just come to the realization that, okay, I'm not this imposter. I am this person that lived this story, that it can now be shared with other people. It was just, it was a lot. It took years. It took years for me to get to the place where I am now, where I'm comfortable about it. Now I don't toil so much with writing. In the beginning, it was challenging to be light about it. But anything that's worth doing is, you got to be willing to go through the pain of making sure that that particular thing is done. When I went through interviewing after interviewing of different publishing people, everybody telling you what you want to hear, but nobody really delivering, it is frustrating. It was challenging. But now, I'm at a comfortable place where, I have my editor. I don't go with anyone else. And it took a while for me to find her, but I found her. I'm like, she's amazing. But just beginning, people get frustrated in just the beginning steps. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where
Mm-hmm.
you got to push even more, to push through the pain, to get to your story actually being seen and heard, and your voice being out there for others to connect to, and to see that, hey, look, my neighbor Sally, she did it. Well, I can do it
Mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm. And how do you go about finding an editor? Or is this something you do when you're working with, I mean, I know that you have a program where you help women write a book in 3 months. That's amazing. So, but is that part of the process, or is that just the writing piece of it?
Oh no, that's part of the process. Like, I take you from beginning to end, because you don't want someone to get started in something and then they're not comfortable, or they don't feel that they can actually deliver to end with a book and find a publishing company that they're comfortable with. So I
Mhm.
show them how, the tips and the tools, and how you get through to find the publishing company that you feel good about.
Wow. And so are women really writing books in 3 months?
That's something new that I started. So
Okay.
this is my new program that I started. Actuality, I actually helped a lady write a book that she was toiling with and toiling with, and I was like, okay, look, I see what you've done, but that's not the way you do it, because I did that and it took forever. This is how you do it, where it does not take forever, and you
Mm.
still getting your story out there. You're still getting what you want heard and seen and read. So when you can help somebody actually get through that painstake of, it don't have to take years. If you don't have that kind of time to spend on a story, those are called novels usually. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't have
Mm-hmm.
that kind of time and energy to put in that, but you have a message that you want to get out there and you want to do it. I helped her in 6 months. So in 6 months' time, she got it done. She was happy, elated. Hey, that's half the battle of where she was to where she ended. So
Yeah.
now I've worked out to where, okay, well, you don't even need that. You can do it in
Mhm.
3, but you have to be committed. You have to be committed
Yeah.
to yourself, and you have to be committed to the program. Because if you're not committed to yourself and you're not committed to the program, then you're gonna keep doing what you've always done because you're not committed.
Yeah. And so the word commitment, I feel excitement and pain with that word. but I imagine, I mean, being an author is, I mean, how does it feel to be an author? You're a published author, and you're a published author times five. Like, how does that feel to you? And actually, before you answer that question, go ahead and think about that. I'm just going to remind everybody, all of you who are watching this wonderful interview on my personal Facebook page, we are going to be shutting it down. So make sure that you see the description and you go into requesting to go into one of those groups, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. That is also in the explanation. You can click on the link, go on there and subscribe to that, and you'll get a notification when the video is ready for you to watch with Francis and me. So go ahead, Francis, go ahead and answer that question.
Actually, it felt really good. Like the first book that I got out there, um, when I saw it in hand, it was just like, oh my gosh, I wrote this. Oh my God.
Oh, I
Like
love that.
this this is what I did. And it was like, yay. And it's like I felt so elated, and at the same time, I was like, whoa, I wrote a book. Ooh, okay. Me.
Oh, it's so cool. I bet that felt really, really good. I know when I wrote a song for the first time and played it somewhere, I was like, I did that. And they applauded. It felt good. But I know also for me, there was like this piece that felt good because I went from beginning to end with it.
Yes, yes,
And so when you get your publication in hand and you see that with the cover and everything, it's kind of
yeah.
like, wow.
Oh yeah, definitely. When I saw the cover and I read it, and I was just like, wow, like this came from me. And other people read it and they connected with it, and I heard a lot of women and even some guys, they bought it too, and they were like, oh
Hmm.
my God, this really spoke to me. I love what you wrote here. Like, how long did it take you? And I didn't want to discourage anyone because it took years, because those were poetry writings that I wrote throughout years of my life. And
Yeah.
I just had to hone it down and just decide which ones I wanted to be in a book for people to be able to read and it resonate with them. And once I saw that it resonated with people and they were coming back and they were expressing how much they enjoyed it, how it connected with them, how it helped them, that's a really good feeling. You're like, wow. So my
Yeah.
words actually helped you. Wow.
Yeah. I know that feels really amazing, right? To be able to have an impact on the world, even
Yes.
if it's one person at a time. I mean, especially if it's one person at a time. Cesar Chavez says, you speak to one person, who speaks to one person, speaks to one person, and
Yeah.
it's just to be able to touch lives like that is really beautiful. What do you feel is the book that's had the most impact?
The one I feel that had the most impact is the recent one that I did, the How to Achieve Your Goals in Life and Living, because it really simplified how people can achieve goals in actual, real time. How it's not cumbersome, it's not challenging to the point where, oh my God, I got to finish this goal. Oh, I can't do it. I'm done. It's more of,
Yeah.
hey, look, and I do some steps, I give some tips on how to achieve goals that's reasonable for you, that it's in your time. It's not measured by anybody else's scale, it's measured by you. And it's a lot of encouragement in there. I have some affirmations because I love affirmations. I talk about self-talk. I talk about how you get through circumstances. And one of my favorite things that I wrote, that I have in my book, is that circumstances happen to us all, but it's
Mm-hmm.
how you react to that circumstances that
Absolutely.
makes the difference.
Absolutely. That is very, 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 very true. And in fact, I'll take that one notch further and say it's how you choose not to react, but then respond. Right? I feel like there's a way in which we are very reactive people.
Mhm.
And so something happens to us and we react, and yeah, we can choose. So I would say that the choice is to respond rather than react, right? What a great book, How to Achieve Your Goals in Life and Living. Where can people get that?
It's on Amazon, so they can go to
Fabulous.
Amazon.com and it's in there. How to
Okay,
achieve your goals in life and living. Francis Sims would be
wonderful.
who they would look under.
Okay, fabulous. I'm actually going to see if I can pull that up. I'm going to keep the tile up there for people to see it, but I'm going to see if I can pull that up and then get the link for folks. And I found it. Oh my gosh, of course, instantly, right? So I'm going to put that in the description so people can check that out right now. But I can give you guys the banner. So Amazon.com, literally / achieve your goals, life living / DP. And then it's got a lovely number there, 15495933536. Anyways, so that's fabulous. And also, if people want to hear more about you, you said you have a Facebook group, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I think you gave me the link, so I'm gonna put that in there for people to check out as well. Tell us about the Facebook group. What is that? What's it called?
My Facebook group is called Women Impacting Life. And when I thought about the group, I thought about all of the things that we women do. We are creators, we are life givers, we are comforters, we empower people, we encourage people, we hold
Mhm,
people in the safest space, and we're always pushing people up to their highest level of them. But
mhm,
one thing we don't do is that we don't think about ourselves. We don't look at ourselves and we don't support ourselves when it comes to impacting life.
mhm,
And that's where it starts, because if you are love and you love yourself, then you can love others. And if you support yourself, then you can support others. And we have
mhm.
this feeling like, oh no, I'm selfish if I do this. But you're not selfish.
Nope.
You have to really, really, really connect with yourself in order to connect with other people. Because that's, if you don't connect with yourself, that's a quick and easy way for you to burn out. And
Mhm,
everything that you have inside of you, the gifts, the talents, the abilities, all the functions that you have in you, it fades because you don't connect with it any longer. And then it
mhm,
becomes, oh, it was just a hobby. But your life is not a hobby. Who you are is not a hobby. What you do, what you bring, what you have, what you feel is not a hobby. That is you. That's your life. Everything rolled up into the magnificent, beautiful woman that you are.
mm. Wow, we're not at 30 minutes, but I was gonna say, man, that's a mic drop. That's where we go. Like we're done. Magnificent, beautiful woman that you are. Yes, indeed. I love that. Have you ever started writing a book and decided, nah, this is not gonna be it. This is not, I mean, this is, and just kind of felt just like, this doesn't feel right. I don't know if it's going where I want to go, and then just kind of stop.
Yes, I have a few like that. I had a book that I started years ago, and it's called Being a Mom. And I started writing it, and like two chapters in, I was like, yeah, okay. And because it's not the right time. That's why you feel that
Mhm.
way. It's
Right.
not that the book isn't right. It's that it's not the right time for that
At the
book.
right time. That makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. So what do you tell yourself? Is that what you tell yourself? That maybe this content is okay, it's beautiful, it's fine, and there's nothing wrong with me, but it's just not the right time?
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I help women to uncover too, because a lot of times we're thinking, oh my gosh, I failed. Ah, life is over. Let me just do this and go in my corner, and I can do this little thing and just live comfortably. But that's not true at all, because who says that that particular book or that particular song or whatever it is that you want to do is right for that moment? Maybe the hearts of the people that you need to reach or touch, they're not ready. So if
Mhm.
they're not ready, that message is not going to be received. And then your feelings are going to be hurt because you spent all this time, you did all this work, you poured into it, you birthed it out,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
got nothing. but it's
Mhm.
because it wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. Well, as we're coming to the end here of our interview, first I want to ask everybody who's been listening, or if you're listening on the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay and let us know your thoughts. If you've ever written a book, if you'd like to write a book, if you've started a book and stopped, maybe you started 3 or 4 and stopped, and what that process was for you. What were the joys and pains for you? And Frances, I think if we can, would love to close out with maybe you have a hot tip for some blossoming, aspiring authors.
Yes. One thing is, don't compare yourself to anyone else. Keep the comparison of what you do and what someone else do. Just don't even do it. I would say you can
Mm.
use that person as an inspiration for you, but not as a comparison to you, because their life story and your life story, those are two different stories. How you see yourself is different than how that person see themselves. So your magnificent self, your gorgeous self, is not the same as the other person that you're comparing yourself to. So your love, your level of giving, your your birth, your experience, everything about you is uniquely designed and just pointed out for you. So, whatever you pour out, however you show up, however you love, that is uniquely your thing. That's your gift to the world. So, that's what you share.
Mm, thank you. Thank you. And right back at you, magnificent, gorgeous self. Thank you very much, everyone. We've been talking with Frances Sims, confidence empowering writing coach, and again, published author. I'll put links into her How to Achieve Your Goals in Life and Living book if you'd like to purchase that. I will also put into the comments her Facebook group. And is this a Facebook group? Okay, so it's called Women Impacting Life. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I'll put the Facebook group link in there for everyone as well if you'd like to join that group and hear more wisdom from Frances on a more regular basis. Frances, thank you so much for being here with me. And don't hang up when I end this broadcast because I want to just say a couple more words to you, but we'll say goodbye to everybody else. Thank you and yay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.